Hello students, welcome to Target IES. I hope you are having wonderful day. Let us continue with our lecture number 5. So in this lecture I am going to continue the lecture number 4 of CPPM. Few topics have been left right. So that topics I will be covering in this module. It won't be lengthy, 15-20 minutes or maximum 30 minutes. We will be completing the entire topic. So in the last module I have stopped after teaching you simple interest and compound interest, right? These are simple formulas which you already know from your school itself. So compound interest का formula क्या है? If you are paying P amount after n time intervals, how much money you will be receiving? That will be P into 1 plus I whole to the power of n. And in CPPM we will be using only compound interest formula unless specified. Okay, याद रखना है आपको. We'll be using which formula? Compound interest formula only. Now next I thought you cash flow diagram. What is cash flow diagram? Very simple. It is just a straight line and you will be having certain arrows like this. It will be having certain arrows like this. Whenever you are doing some business or whatever, even your expenditure, whatever you can draw as a cash flow diagram. This upward arrow represents what? Cash coming in. That means money which you are getting. For example, first day आपको एक 10,000 मिला है. Second day you have lost like 5,000. So that will be represented as a downward arrow because downward arrow represents cash which is going out. If upward arrow is coming in, downward arrow will be going out. Very simple. So this is how you represent the money. It's like a ledger. Money which is going out, money which is coming in. Very simple, right? समझ में आ गया? Nothing to worry, right? So let us continue with the next topic, which is interest formula for single payment series. What is it? क्या topic? Interest formula for single payment series. That means you are paying once and after n time interval, how much money you are receiving. Let us say this is what you have paid principal and after n years, what is the future amount you are going to receive F. How to get it? Very simple. It is similar to what? Compound interest formula only ना. P आप दे दिए, after n years you will be receiving F amount. So it is P F is equals to P into 1 plus I whole to the power of n. End of story. काफी simple है. There is nothing, right? So this whatever factor whichever you are multiplying with the present value, that I am calling as single payment compound factor, right? Single payment compound factor because it is related to single payment. आप एक ही बार payment करे हो and how much will be your future money? That will be F is equals to P into 1 plus I whole to the power of n. Compound interest formula. That's it. For next thing, for equal payment series. What is for equal payment series? Basically insurance. I have recently joined an insurance scheme. यहाँ पे मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ? Every year I'm paying equal amount. I am actually paying 11,000 rupees per annum. Okay, so like that. If you are using the same example, 11,000, 11,000. Third year 11,000 again. 11,000 will be continued for n years. Then how much I will be receiving at the end? What will be the future value I will be receiving? I am giving out so much amount every year, and what is the value I will be receiving at the end of my end time interval? That I have to find out. Okay, so that is for equal payment series. How to get it? Very simple. आपको क्या करना है? Every year you are giving 11,000, right? First find out what is the present value of it. प्रेजेंट वैल्यू कितना है? हाउ टू गेट प्रेजेंट वैल्यू? अरे यार 11,000 का प्रेजेंट वैल्यू आपको पहचानना है. हाउ टू गेट इट? वेरी सिंपल. 11,000 इज इक्वल्स टू P इंटू 1 प्लस I होल टू द पावर ऑफ n. n यानी फॉर द फर्स्ट ईयर यू आर पेइंग 11,000, सो टू द पावर ऑफ 1. वेरी सिंपल, राइट? तो प्रेजेंट वैल्यू क्या हो जाएगा? 11,000 divided by 1 plus I. Agreed? For this find the present value. Let us say this is P1. Okay, so क्या हो जाएगा? प्रेजेंट वैल्यू क्या हो जाएगा? P2 is equals to 11,000 divided by 1 plus I whole to the power of 2. Why? Because इसका प्रेजेंट वैल्यू क्या होगा? You only tell. This number present value is how much? Very simple. After, this is for 1 year, 2 years, right? After 2 years this P value should be 11,000. That means your 11,000 is equals to P into 1 plus I whole to the power of 2 years. That's why my present value P2 whatever you are writing, right, that will be 11,000 divided by 1 plus I whole square. Common sense की बात है. इसका कितना रहेगा present value? That will be nothing but very simple 11,000 divided by 1 plus I whole cube. Got it? Therefore the total present value of n installments कितना रहेगा? That will be nothing but 11,000 divided by 1 plus I plus 11,000 divided by 1 plus I whole square plus 11,000 divided by 1 plus I whole cube plus so on. I hope you got it right. So this is like geometrical progression if you are seeing properly. Geometrical progression का क्या है? Sum of n numbers कितना है? 1 minus r to the power of n divided by 1 minus r, right? तो वही लिख लेंगे. यहाँ पे r क्या है? 1 by 1 plus I. No, r क्या है? Common factor कौन सा है? 1 by 1 plus I only. So my sum will be nothing but 1 minus 1 by 1 plus I whole to the power of n by 1 minus 1 by 1 plus I. This will be the present value. This will be my present value. Okay, so present value कितना है आपका? It is the value whichever you are paying at equal installments, that into 1 minus 1 plus I whole to the power of n divided by 1 minus 1 by 1 plus I. Very simple, right? अगर आप कॉमन निकाल दोगे, so what you will be getting, your p value is equals to a into 1 plus I whole to the power of n minus 1 divided by I into 1 plus I whole to the power of n. No need to remember anything. एग्जाम में डिराइव कर लेना एक ही बार, not at all a problem, no need to think. So if this is equal payment, this will be your value. What will be the future value? Common sense की बात है. So now you have reduced this diagram, you know the p, all you want to find is f. All this thing is gone because you have reduced it to the value p. Now you know the value p, you just want value f. Value f क्या हो जाएगा? That will be nothing but p into 1 plus I whole to the power of, if this is taking n years, 1 plus I whole to the power of n. End of story. Is there anything? Your future value will be present value into 1 plus I whole to the power of n, and you will be getting your future value. समझ गए concept? Simple है. So if you are doing this simple math, you will be getting f is equals to a into 1 plus I whole to the power of n minus 1 divided by I. याद रखना है तो याद रख लो, और else एग्जाम में डिराइव कर लो. See, this is for equal investment, right? What if it is varying investment? For example, there will be a question like first year you have paid 1 lakh, second year you paid 1.5 lakh, third year you paid like 3 lakhs. So how much you will be receiving by the end of fourth year? So this could be a question. So what you can do, you can find the present value. Present value क्या हो जाएगा? 1 lakh divided by 1 plus I whole to the power of, rate of interest दे दिएगा क्वेश्चन में, whole to the power of 1 plus 1.5 divided by 1 plus I whole to the power of 2 plus 3 divided by 1 plus I whole to the power of 3. So solve कर लेना, rate of interest if it is given, just solve this, and then what you have to do, you have to find out what is your future value. What is your future value, and you will be getting your answer. Not just like this, you can also do directly. P value की जरूरत नहीं है, you can directly calculate what will be the future value, right? If you are paying at this, let us say this is first year, this is second year, this is third year, you want to find out how much money you will be having by the end of fourth year, then you can directly do also, right? What is there in it? 1 lakh into 1 plus rate of interest whole to the power of, how many years will be there? 3 years, right? 3 साल के बाद कितना होगा, like that. So plus your 1.5 lakh into 1 plus I whole to the power of 2 years plus 3 lakh into 1 plus I whole to the power of 1, whatever it is. ऐसे भी आप कर सकते हो, it doesn't matter, there are a lot of alternative ways. This is one of the way to represent our answer, that's it. Okay, so this is how your textbooks will be representing, that's why I have taught you in this method. I hope it is very clear, right? But ये equal intervals वाला याद रखना है, because it is in geometrical progression and you can take out the formula and solve it in a better way. Even in prelims without using calculator you can solve it. That's why for equal payment series is very important, and remember these formulas. Okay, remember these formulas, or at least remember how you have to derive the formula in your examination. Next is break-even analysis. You might be knowing this from your management classes, not at all a problem. So it is just a simple graph between amount, that is money, versus volume of output. So this graph, please be careful, this doesn't give graph between how much revenue you are earning with respect to time. याद रखना, this has nothing to do with it. ये break even analysis क्या करता है? It gives us a rough idea how many products you have to sell so that you will be getting profit. Okay, if you have a certain industry, how many products you have to sell so that you will be in a profit zone. I hope you got it. For example, let us see, there will be two lines. One is total cost curve, that is the cost whichever is indulged in manufacturing. Second one is revenue curve. अगर आपका ये देख लो, what is the graph between amount and volume of output? Once this whatever point is there, break even point, the common point, if it is crossed, यहाँ का volume आप जो भी बनाते हो, if this many products you are selling, then obviously you are in profit zone. But if you are selling less than that, that means you are in loss. That means you are in loss. So break even analysis, what does it give? It gives us how many units you have to produce so that you will not be in loss. Okay, how many units you have to produce and sell so that you will not be in loss. You will be getting from break even analysis. Okay, so what does this break even point represent? It represents volume of output at which there will be no loss. I hope you got it. So there is one more formula. What is margin of safety? ऐसे भी पूछ सकता है क्वेश्चन में. So what is the margin of safety? It is nothing but total volume of output minus break even point का output divided by total volume of output into 100. This will be your margin of safety. That represents, to be on a safe side, how many materials you have to sell. If margin of safety is more, okay, अगर margin of safety आप ज़्यादा consider कर रहे हो, that means you will be earning more profit. Common sense की बात है, right? I hope you got it. समझ में आ गया concept. Next concept is depreciation. What is depreciation? See, if you are buying a cell phone, let us say today you have bought a cell phone. Okay, 2021 you have bought a cell phone. एक अच्छा सा फोन OnePlus 9 आपने खरीद लिया OnePlus 9. So after 1 year in 2022, let us say you bought it for 50k. In 2022, will that cell phone cost again 50,000 if you want to sell it? No, right? कितना देगा? Some 30,000 देगा. Agreed or not? No one is going to pay you 50,000 for it. So what happened? Depreciation happened. The value of that product decreased over time. It will be same for everything, right? It will be same for everything. Even manufacturing equipment, tractor ले लो आप, dozers ले लो, whatever you have in construction field, everything has to go this depreciation. There are various type of depreciation. First one is physical. Physical yani over time. If you are using it regularly, there will be wear and tear over the product over the certain period of time, and we are calling it as physical depreciation. Next one आके functional depreciation. What is functional depreciation? Due to obsolescence, यानी it is outdated now. That is outdated technology. For example, पहले हम pagers use कर रहे थे cell phone के पहले. Pagers was hot topic. And after that cell phones come. Once the cell phones come, pagers का use ही चले गया. It became outdated. Right? I hope you are getting it right. Due to change in technology, basically the old technology वाला क्या हो जाएगा? Obsolescence हो जाएगा. For example, CD DVD players. पहले हर घर में रहता था CD DVD players. Agreed or not? So once the new technology came, like USBs आ गए, right? Pen drives आ गए हमारे, and इंटरनेट का स्पीड बढ़ गया. So you are storing online directly. तो CDs DVD का कल्चर गायब ही हो गया. Now there are no CD DVDs available in market. Sony कोई भी कंपनी नहीं बना रही है. I hope you got it right. So functional depreciation, it is outdated. For example, you have bought a CD DVD in 2005. What is the value of it if you want to sell now in 2020? Will it have any value? कोई खरीदेगा? No, no one is going to buy because it is of no use to them. So due to obsolescence, there will be certain depreciation. Next is contingent. Contingent क्या होता है? See, for example, you have a car. You have a very good car. You have maintained in a very good condition. You have bought it for 10 lakhs. At least if you want to sell after 3-4 years, 7 लाख 6-7 लाख तो आपको मिल ही जाएंगे. Agreed? But let us say the same car, it has gone through a accident. Okay, क्या हो गया? Accident हो गया. तो क्या ये कॉस्ट में जाएगा? No, right? Hardly it will be going for 3-4 lakhs. I hope you are getting it right. So if there is some accident, disaster, diminution of supply, so because of this there will be certain depreciation, and we are calling it as contingent depreciation. I hope you got it. समझ में आ गया? Next is salvage value. Salvage value means resale value. If you want to resell after any years, आपका यूज हो गया है, you want to buy something new or you are fed up with that, you want to sell it, the value whatever you are getting, the resale value, I am calling it as salvage value. Resale value को हम क्या बुलाते हैं? Salvage value. Next is scrap value. If at the end of its life it is useless, किसी काम का नहीं है, okay, it is of absolutely no use, then what you have to do? Obviously you have to sell it by parts, right? part अलग करके स्टील के हिसाब से, वेट के हिसाब से बेचना पड़ेगा. It doesn't have any value. The value it has is only the junk value. That is, it is absolutely useless. That will be scrap value of that product. I hope you got it right. समझ में आ गया? What is book value? There is one more value, book value. See, for example, I have bought a car for 10 lakhs. 10 lakhs की मैंने कार खरीदी. Okay, so this car value next year, that will be, let us say, 9 lakhs. Book value of this car in next year कितना है? 9 lakh है. Okay, what is the book value? If next year it is 8 lakhs, I will be calling the book value after 2 years is 8 lakhs, book value after 3 years is 7 lakhs, so and so. Okay, value in that particular year में उसकी value कितनी है product की, I will be calling it as book value. I hope you got it. समझ गए concept? Now this depreciation has certain formulas. Okay, so the first one is straight line method. First one is what? Straight line method. Here we are assuming loss is at constant amount every year. Okay, loss is happening at constant amount. हर साल 10,000 इसका value घट रहा है. If you have bought a cell phone in the first year it was 50,000, second year it was 40,000, third year it was 30,000. That means its value is decreasing every year exactly by 10,000. In that thing we'll be using this straight line method. And what will be the rate of depreciation? That will be 1 by n, where n is its lifespan. Okay, n is its lifespan. I hope you got it right. Rate of depreciation क्या होता है? It will be 1 by n. याद रख लेना, काफी important है. So what will be the depreciation every year? काफी simple है. Initial whatever cost it got, उसके बाद at the end of n years its lifetime, n years के बाद कितना है उसका value? It will be equal to scrap value or salvage value. Agreed or not? Scrap value or salvage value. So CI minus CS divided by the number of years it got. Depreciation for year कितना हो जाएगा? Initial cost minus salvage cost divided by the number of years it is working. I hope you got it. And if you want to find out book value at any years, that will be how much? It will be initial cost minus m into your CI minus CS divided by n. ये कर लेना, आपको book value आ जाएगा at a particular year. Not at all a problem, right? Next is declining balance method. See, in this method I have said the value is decreasing at a constant amount. Here declining balance method, it is decreasing at a constant percentage. Okay, ये जो percentage को हम क्या कहते हैं? Fixed percentage of depreciation, FDB. Question आ सकता है, what is the value of FDB? He will be giving you your initial cost, salvage cost, and he will be asking you what is your FDB. Okay, so very simple. Your FDB is equals to 1 minus CS by CI whole to the power of 1 by n. ये फॉर्मूला आपको याद रखना पड़ेगा. That will be your fixed percentage of depreciation. Okay, next is double declining balance method. इतना important नहीं है. So if it is declining by any other factor, we will be calling it as double declining balance method. And FDDB, it is almost equivalent to twice that of single line method. Single line method में depreciation कितना था? Rate 1 by n. So the rate of depreciation in double declining balance method is 2 into 1 by n or 2 by n. I hope you got it. Next chapter चले जाएंगे, which is labor and safety. Very simple. There are only 3 formula. अगर क्वेश्चन आता है तो then it's a jackpot, because there are only 3 formulas which you have to remember. The first one is injury frequency rate. Injury frequency rate means, so the disabling injuries, we are not counting all the injury. ऐसा नहीं है कि you got a small, like आपके ऊपर कुछ गिर गया, सिर्फ नाखून डैमेज हुआ है, not like that. Okay, so disabling causing injuries, हाथ कट गया, पैर कट गया, आंख चली गए. Okay, so like that. Disabling causing injuries per 1 lakh man hours. Yani if there are like 100 people working, okay, 100 people working for 1000 hours, तो कितना हो जाएगा? 100 into 1000, that is 1 lakh hours. So if certain people are working for 1 lakh hours, how many disabling injuries occurred? That will be called as injury frequency rate. That will be called as injury frequency rate. That is nothing but number of disabling injuries divided by total number of man hours work into 1 lakh कर लें. Got it? समझ में आ गया? फॉर्मूला याद रख लो. Number of disabling injuries by total number of man hours worked into 1 lakh. I hope you got it. समझ में आ गया? Next is injury severity rate. See how to find whether something is severe. देखना, अगर आपको लाइट बुखार आई है, in one day you will be okay, right? Agreed or not? If you got some serious बुखार, you might be needing 3 days, 4 days like that to recover. Agreed or not? So severity कैसे पता चलेगा? The time delay will give you the severity. Agreed or not? So it is given by lost time in days due to injury for 1000 man hours work. Okay, so more the lost time, more is the severity of injury. Common sense की बात है. So lost time in days due to injuries of 1000 man hours worked, we are calling it as injury severity rate. So it is nothing but number of days lost divided by number of man hours worked into 1000. Next is injury index. What is injury index? Very simple है. ऊपर के 2 formulas पढ़ा था ना, injury frequency rate, into injury severity rate divided by 1000 कर लेना, that will be your injury index. Okay, so what is injury frequency rate? Number of disabling injuries divided by number of man hours worked into 1 lakh. Injury severity rate is number of days lost divided by number of man hours worked into 1000, and injury index is nothing but your injury frequency rate into injury severity rate divided by 1000. समझ में आ गया? End of story. 3 फॉर्मूला याद रख लो. Done. Next is legislation. What is this legislation? There are some laws as a labor which guarantees them their rights. These laws you have to remember. At least ये दो याद रख लेना. Minimum Wage Act कब आया था? 1948. Same year there was one more act which is Factories Act. Minimum Wages Act क्या किया था? This said you have to pay your workers on a monthly basis. Okay, ऐसा नहीं कि साल के बाद आप सैलरी दोगे, or else घर नहीं चलेगा ना उसका. So obviously you have to pay on a monthly basis. Who said this? Minimum Wages Act. And settlement, whatever, if someone is terminated, आप किसी नौकर को नौकरी से निकालते हो, you have to settle his payment within how many days? 2 days. So which act gives them this power? Labor को कौन सा act power देता है इसका? 1948 में आया था Minimum Wages Act, and it gives them this right. Next is Factory Act. Factory Act क्या कहा है? If you are working overtime, then you have to pay more wage. कितना? Almost double आपको pay करना है. If someone is working 9 to 5, but you have to work, let us say, 2 hours extra. For this 2 hours, you have to be charging overtime wage. It is given in Factory Act. And women, they can work only from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. The owner has no right to say to women to stay for after 7 p.m. at night. I hope it is very clear, right? And there are some more acts like Labor Welfare Fund Act, which came in 1965, Workmen Compensation Act 1923, Trade Union Act 1926, and there is one more Payment of Wages Act 1936. Okay, ये 2-3 याद रख लेना काफी है. This one is important. Labor Welfare Fund Act 1965, Factory Act, and Minimum Wages Act. More than enough. Okay, so next let us go to engineering equipment. So in this chapter there are some important formulae, and from this formulae the questions are coming. The first formula of importance from this chapter is tractive force. Okay, how much tractive force is being executed by a vehicle in order to move? Very simple formula है, P equals to R into W, which is similar to that of your friction formula. Friction formula याद है आपको? F is equals to mu n कुछ था ना? So resistance into your gross weight, right? Similar to that. यहाँ पे क्या आता है? P is equals to R into N, where R is rolling resistance, W is gross weight of vehicle. Like that you can easily remember. कोई problem ही नहीं है ना, याद रहेगा. So next is grade resistance. This is related to that of slope, the slope on which the vehicle is moving. Okay, the land slope on which the vehicle is moving. So whenever there is some increase in grade, what will happen? Obviously the tractive effort is increased by 10 kg per tonne of weight for each 1% change in grade. That means the weight कितना हो जा रहा है? It is increased by 10 kg per tonne. Effect इसका इतना बता रहा है. Okay, so for every 1% change in grade, the effect which is it is showing is 10 kg increase in weight per tonne. I hope it is very clear, right? So, and what will be your total resistance? Total resistance will be nothing but your rolling resistance plus or minus your grade resistance. I hope it is very clear. Next आके रिम्पल है. What is रिम्पल? रिम्पल is nothing but force which is being executed by the vehicle. The tractive force between rubber tires of driving wheels and surface on which this vehicle is running, right? That I am calling it as rimpul. In simple language, force. So there is one simple formula for power. Power is nothing but force into velocity. If you remember from fluid mechanics. So now you want force, तो क्या कर लोगे? P by V कर लोगे. यही करना है आप. Okay, P by V करना है. The horsepower of that vehicle will be given. Speed will be given. You have to write power divided by your velocity. अगर velocity आपका mph में दिया है, you can directly substitute in this formula 375 hp by speed, and obviously if efficiency is given in question, just multiply by efficiency. Generally if we are talking about tractors, efficiency will be around 0.8 to 0.85. Next let us talk about the dozers. We have different type of dozers, especially to clear the land we will be using these dozers, right? So the first one is bulldozer. In this it will be moving. If we have a vehicle something like this, यहाँ पे blade रहेगा. The blade will be perpendicular to the direction of motion, right? Blade कहाँ पे? It is perpendicular to direction of motion. Similarly we have angle dozers where blade will be at certain angle. at like this. There will be the blade will be attached at certain angle 25 degrees. इससे क्या होगा, all the waste will be accumulated on this side only. ये side पे waste नहीं accumulate होगा. I hope you got it. That is angle dozer. We also have tilt dozer. One end, for example, this is the blade. This is the blade. One end of the blade is raised up. Okay, up to कितना raise करते हैं, 25 centimeter up to we will be generally raising. That is tilt dozer. Next is push dozer. We have what? Next is what? Push dozer. We generally use it to push any items, and then we have tree dozer to excavate or to remove trees. Generally we will be using this tree dozers. I hope it is very clear. Okay, and this bit is very important. The performance of this dozers, now it is measured in what? Horsepower by per foot of cutting edge. Horsepower per foot of cutting edge. The cutting edge whatever you have in front, horsepower per foot of cutting edge we will be using to determine the performance of my dozer. And next is output of bulldozers. Output of any vehicle ले लो of, it could be bulldozers, it could be power shovel, whatever. Output का मतलब है volume per hour. Volume per hour, ये unit याद रखना है. Whatever you are given in the question, just check. The end answer should be volume per hour. That's it. Multiply units as per it. Okay. So for example, if number of trips are given per hour and capacity of mold board is given, what you can do, trips per hour into number of the net mold board capacity आप कर लो, आपको आपका आंसर आ जाएगा. At the end you should be getting volume per hour यार. That's it. Unit याद रख लो, उसके हिसाब से whatever is given in the question, just use it and do your question. Similarly, power shovel, answer should be in volume per hour, that is meter cube per hour. That's it. Whatever your variables are given in the question, just multiply, your answer should be meter cube per hour. Okay, so output of power shovel, you can write it as bank measure capacity of dipper into trips per hour. कुछ फॉर्मूला याद रखने की जरूरत नहीं है. योर आंसर शुड बी मीटर क्यूब पर आवर. दैट्स इट. दैट इज द ओनली थिंग. वेरिएबल्स मल्टीप्लाई कर लो, आंसर डाल दो. Sometimes you will be given a swell factor. That means the soil whatever you are excavating, right, it will be swelling. So in that case what you will be doing, very simple है, the loose volume of dipper divided by 1 plus swell factor into trips per hour आपको करना पड़ेगा. I hope it is very clear, right? याद रहेगा, not at all a problem for you, right? So let us continue. There is one more excavating equipment which is called as clamshell. ये क्या होता है? It is a combination of drag line and crane. So next, scrapper. Scrapper का output क्या रहेगा? Exactly same रहेगा. If there is efficiency, multiply with efficiency also. Done. Now next let us see what are the types of cranes we have. Generally we have two types of cranes. One is mobile crane and tower crane. What are the cranes we have? Mobile crane and tower crane. Generally ये जो heavier loads lift करने के लिए यूज करते हैं ना, that is mobile crane, and lighter loads के लिए यूज करते हैं, that is tower crane. Okay, so generally tower crane are used to lift items to certain height. If you want to lift it to certain height, a very tall height, you will be going for tower cranes. So mobile cranes generally to transfer the load from one point to other point. Heavier loads will be using mobile crane. So there are three types of mobile cranes. One is crawler crane, yani there will be a crawler attached, crane rahega like this. Okay, so there will be a crawler. This is called as crawler crane. Next one is telescopic boom truck mounted crane. ये क्या रहेगा? मीडियम साइज का रहेगा. You need not dismantle this boom whatever you have. For example, this is how it is. यहाँ पे इसका boom है. Okay, so you need not dismantle your boom. वैसे ही यूज कर लेना. रोड पे जा सकता है without dismantling, you can use it. Next is lattice boom truck mounted crane. This is very big. In lattice boom truck mounted crane, this will be very big, and you cannot generally use it like that on roads. You have to dismantle it, take it to the new location on road, and then again reassemble it, and then use it to lift any loads. I hope you got it. समझ में आ गया concept? So next is tower crane. Tower crane obviously it takes less space. It is used to lift the items to a greater height. So there are few other cranes of importance which could be asked for objective purpose. One is derrick crane. Derrick crane क्या होता है? It is used to take to a very high level heights. Okay, very high hoisting crane को हम क्या कहते हैं? Derrick crane कहते हैं. And we also have Whirler crane, which is nothing but combination of mobile and tower crane. It has benefits of mobile crane as well as tower crane. Next is gantry crane. Gantry crane कहाँ रहेगा? Industries में रहेगा, factories में रहेगा. You might have seen. It will be something like this. Okay, you can move the loads in all the three ways. There will be a hook like this. You can keep the load. It will be moving like this also, or you can move it like this also. Okay, in all three direction, X, Y, Z, it will be moving. So that is the purpose of gantry crane. नेक्स्ट क्या है, स्पेशल मेथड्स ऑफ वाइब्रेशन. देयर आर फोर मेथड्स ऑफ वाइब्रेशन विच यू शुड बी अवेयर ऑफ. द फर्स्ट वन इज वाइब्रो प्रेसिंग. सो वाइब्रेशन के साथ हम क्या कर रहे हैं, एक्सटर्नल प्रेशर भी ऐड कर रहे हैं. दिस इज कॉल्ड एज वाइब्रो प्रेसिंग. ओके, सो नेक्स्ट शॉकिंग. We can also give shocking or jolting so that the vibration will be happening for my excavation material. Next is centrifugation. We can move with very high velocity so that this vibration will be happening. Next is air jets. Air jets का क्या है, we have this air jets. Air jets क्यों use करते हैं, for example in concrete we will be having lot of air voids, right? So air jets लग के voids को निकाल देंगे so that my concrete will be compacted. End of story. These are the various special methods of vibration. So this concludes our entire CPPM. See you in next module in which I will be teaching building materials.